Drawing this cute cat in pumpkin is easier than you think, and I'm going to show you step by step how you can do it even if you're a beginner in digital art. Before you start, make sure to download the color palette for this illustration and all my free brushes that are linked in the description of this video. And if you'll have fun drawing this with me and would like to get some more tutorials like this, check out my Patreon. I add there a new tutorial every week. Link is in the description. And with all that being said, grab your drawing tools and let's start. Let's make a new canvas, A4 canvas from Procreate. And first we are going to draw a pumpkin shape. So let's pick our first color. And from now on I will start using cards as a color palette, because one of my subscribers asked me to do it, because then it's easier to see what color I'm taking. So if you don't know where to find the cards, you have to go here to the palettes. Then usually you will see just this version with all the color palettes, and you have to go here to cards. So to draw the shape of the pumpkin, we can take color number 1 and let's pick a brush. Let's go here to the calligraphy and take monoline brush. I'm going to use brush size 35 and I'll start drawing this with an oval shape, the one that will be in the middle. So draw a shape like this and put your finger on the screen to make this vertical. Now we want to place this in the middle of the canvas. Let's take the arrow tool and here at the bottom let's pick uniform option and make sure that snapping is turned on. So this way we can move it and it will snap to the middle of the canvas. We can now still change the size of this. I will make mine just a little bit smaller and I will make sure that it's back on that middle line. Let's tap here to finish and let's color this inside. So drag and drop the color in here. You can hold your pencil on the screen and swipe it to the left or right to adjust the color drop threshold. Okay, now we are going to draw the side parts of the pumpkin on a new layer. Let's make the layer and we are going to put it under the layer we're just drawing on. We want to have the two parts on both sides the same. So to draw this like that, we can turn on the symmetry tool. Let's go to the actions menu, canvas, turn on drawing guide, then tap on edit drawing guide, and here at the bottom let's pick symmetry and in the options make sure vertical is selected. Let's tap on done. And now let's open the layers to make sure that this layer is assisted. You can tap here and make sure that the drawing assist here is turned on. So now we can draw here two other ellipses on the sides like this. If you want, you can tap here on edit ellipse and then just edit the shape of it. You can also move it around. Okay, I like it like that, so I can tap with my finger on the screen and now I'm going to color this inside. Now let's make one more layer and put it under the one that we're just drawing on. Let's also put here drawing assist and now draw an ellipse here on a side. I'm going to edit this a little bit. Okay, and now I can color this inside. I want to move my middle ellipse down a little bit, so I'll go to this layer here. I will take the arrow tool and just move it down like that. We can tap here to finish this. And now let's draw the face on the pumpkin. I want to place the mouth in the middle part. So I will make a new layer above it. We will draw the symmetrical. So let's tap here and turn on drawing assist. And let's pick a color for this. Let's take number 5. Let's draw a mouth over here. You can draw any shape that you like. Just make sure that you will not come outside of the middle part of the pumpkin here. I will draw a shape like this. I'm holding here my pencil on screen to draw a straight line. And then I will draw some kind of teeth over here like that. Let's color this inside. And now let's draw the eyes. Let's draw them on those second ellipses over here. So let's make a new layer and let's put this above those two ellipses here. Let's also turn here the drawing assist and let's draw here eyes. I will draw them like that. A little bit scary, but not too much. I will draw a shape like that. And let's color this inside. Okay, now we can draw the cat. Let's make a new layer on top of everything. And let's change the color. Let's take here this one, number 7. And we are going to draw here a circle shape, but I want my cat to have a little bit of fuzz on the edge. So for this we can change the brush. I will be using today here my new siakulaart texture brushes. If you are interested in them, they are now on sale 30%, link is in the description. But if you don't have them, you can use any other brush. You can go to charcoals, or even go to my siakulaart freebies brushes and use siakulaart pencil for this, or any other brush that you like. Okay, so I will go to my siakulaart texture brushes and I will use here soft 2. I'll make the brush size 3% and I will draw here a circle shape like this. I'm holding my pencil here on the screen and I will put my finger here now to make this a perfect circle. Okay, let's color this inside. And you have to hold your pencil on the screen and swipe it to the left to adjust the color drop threshold. So it will fill only the circle now. And with texture brushes, usually you have to go now over the edge here and just fix it. So I will do it like that, so it will look nice. Okay. And now we're going to cut the bottom part of this, so it will look like the cat is coming out of the pumpkin. Let's take the eraser. Let's set it to the same brush we were just using. So I will go to my soft 2 brush. You can go to the brush that you're using. I'll make the opacity 100% and the brush size 6%. And let's cut here the bottom part of it like that. Okay, make sure you will erase this nicely. Now I'll make the brush size smaller, 2%, to have here nicer edge, more sharp, but still with some texture. Okay, let's move this head to the middle of the canvas. So let's take arrow tool and just make sure it will snap to the middle like this. And now on a new layer we can draw his paws. So let's make a new layer. We want to use here the symmetry tool, so let's tap on it and pick here drawing assist. Let's take the brush and we can draw here 2 oval shapes like this. Now we can make a new layer to draw the tail and the ears. Let's put this layer under the head, over here. And first let's draw the tail. I will draw it somewhere over here. like that. I'm making sure this shape is closed, and now I can color this inside. And again, we have to go here around the edge. And now let's draw the ears. For the ears, we want to use the symmetry tool. So let's tap on this layer and turn on drawing assist. And we can draw the ears here like this. Let's color this inside and then go around the edge. Now let's make one more layer here to draw the middle part of the ears. Let's also set it as drawing assist. And let's change the color. Let's take color number 10 and draw it over here like this. And now let's take a small break, and I would like to ask you to write a comment with the word pumpkin. It would mean a lot to me. I would know that you enjoyed this video and I could see who is watching me. So thank you for doing that. And now let's go back to drawing. Okay, now let's draw his eyes and nose. Let's make a new layer for this, and let's put it all the way to the top, over here. Let's also set this as drawing assist. And now let's change the color. Let's take this one, 11. And here we can change the brush. Let's go back here to calligraphy and monoline brush. Let's draw a nose somewhere over here. So a very small, kind of triangular shape, like this. Okay, and now we can draw eyes. Let's take here this green color, number 12. And for the eyes, we can make the brush size bigger. I will make here brush size 53. And let's draw a circle over here. Hold your pencil and screen, and now put your finger here to make this a perfect circle. We can tap here now and readjust the position of this. I will put it somewhere over here. Okay. Let's tap on the screen with finger to finish this. And now we have to color the inside of this with black. So let's take black color, it's number 9. And just drag and drop it in here. And now let's add here a small white reflection. For this we have to take white color. I don't have it over here. We have to go to the classic setting here and take white color like this. And I don't want the reflection to be symmetrical. So let's go to the layers and let's turn off the drawing assist for a second. Let's make the brush size now 100% and just draw here a dot over here and then here. Okay, all of our basic shapes are ready. Let's color the background. So let's open the layers, go to the background color, let's go to the palettes here and cards, and let's take for the background color number 15. Let's tap on done. And now we have all the colors ready. We can start adding here some textures. Let's start here with his paws. So let's go to this layer over here. And now to add the texture here only on this layer, we have to set this layer to alpha lock. So just go here and pick alpha lock. Let's pick color for the texture. Let's take number 8. And let's pick a brush. I will be using something from my siakulaart texture brushes. But if you don't have them, you can go to charcoals and pick any of those brushes here, or pick something from my siakulaart special brushes. There are a few texture brushes here too. Okay, so I'll go to siakulaart textures. And here I will use sand texture. With the brush size 27, I can just draw over here, and now we have here some texture. Let's add the same texture to the other parts of the cat. So let's go now to his head. Let's tap on it and set it as alpha lock, and just color all of it like this. And now let's go to the ears and tail. Let's set it as alpha lock and add the texture here. And now for the middle part here, let's change the color. Let's take this one, 11, go to this layer with the middle part of the ears, tap on it and set it as alpha lock, and let's change the texture brush. Maybe here we can use easy texture. Let's just add it here like that. Okay. I'm going to leave the nose and the eyes without the texture. Now let's add some texture to the pumpkin. Let's go here to that middle part. Let's set it as alpha lock, and let's change the color. Let's take here color number 2, and let's change the brush. I will use here now wall texture. I'll make the brush size big, 89, and just add it here like this with one move. We can do the same to the other parts of the pumpkin. So let's go here, let's tap on it and pick here alpha lock. Let's add the texture. And now this layer here, let's tap on it, set it to alpha lock, and add the texture. Okay, now let's add some texture here to the eyes and mouth. Let's go here to the eyes first. Let's set it as alpha lock, and let's change the color. Let's take color number 6, and let's change the brush here. Let's use here maybe just simple soft 4. And we can add here, we are just going to kind of darken here the top part like this. Now let's make it even more dark with black color. So let's take number 9. Let's make the brush size smaller, 4%, and just darken it here more at the top. Okay. Right away we can draw here sides of those holes. Let's change the color for this. Let's take here color number 1, and I will change the brush here. I'm going to use here this one, dry, and with the brush size 4%, I will draw here first like side of this, so just like that. Okay. I'm repeating the shape here of this hole. And now I can make the brush size smaller, 1%, and just make here the edges of it more sharp and visible. So like this. I'm doing this very, very lightly. But this way we can see that there is actually some thickness to this hole. Okay, so now this looks already nice, I would say. Let's do the same to the mouth. So let's go to this layer over here with the mouth. Let's tap on it and set it as alpha lock. And we can repeat the same process. So first let's take that dark brown color, number 6. Let's change the brush. I will go back to my brush, soft 4. And I'm going to make the size bigger, 6%, and darken here the top part, like that. And now let's take black color, number 9. Make this darker even more here at the top, like that. And now let's draw here the sides of it. So let's change the color to number 1. I will change the brush back to that dry texture brush. this one. And with the brush size 4%, let's just draw here the sides like this. Okay. And now brush size 1, so we can now make sure that this is more visible and we can see what's going on in here more. Okay, I think this is enough here, like this. Now let's start adding some shadow and light to the pumpkin. We can start here with those side parts, over here. Let's make a new layer on top of this, and let's set it as clipping mask. This way whatever we draw here will be visible only on those shapes that are on a layer underneath. Let's change the color. Let's take this color, number 3, and let's change the brush. Here I'm going to use rocky shading. And again, if you don't have my brushes, just use any brush from the charcoals or from my siakulaart special brushes. Let's make the brush size here 15, and we can add the shadow here to the side like this. And I forgot to turn on the drawing assist on this layer. We want to draw here with the symmetry. So let's tap here and turn on drawing assist. Okay. And now let's draw the shadow here like that. So to the right side of this, if you're drawing on the right side, let's make the bottom darker, like that. And now let's make the brush size smaller, 5%. And we can add here shadow right by the edge where that other part is. So on the left side here, like this. I'm going to darken the bottom part still. And a little bit here. Now let's add here light. Let's change the color. Take number 4. And we can add here light on the edge here of the pumpkin, like this. With that smaller brush size. And now let's make the brush size a little bit bigger, 9%. And draw very, very lightly here in the middle. Okay, we can do the same now to the other parts. Let's move on to those parts here, the side parts. So let's go to this layer over here. Let's make a new layer above it. Set it as clipping mask. Let's also put here the drawing assist. Let's take the color for the shadows, number 3. And with the brush size 14, let's add the shadow here to this side and the bottom part, like this. Make the bottom part darker. Also here around the cut we can make it darker. And now let's make the brush size smaller, 5%, and draw here shadow right by the edge of the middle part. So like this. Let's make it really dark here. Okay, and now let's take the lighter color, number 4, and brighten up here this side where we added shadow on the right side. Like this. Okay, and now with bigger brush size, 12, let's add some light here in the middle, like this. Okay, and now let's move on to the middle part. Let's go to this layer over here, make a new layer above it, set it as clipping mask, set it as drawing assist, And let's change the color for the shadow color, color number 3. And let's add the shadow here like that. So also kind of on the right side and on the bottom part. Okay. And now let's take the lighter color for the lights, number 4. Let's brighten up here the middle part, like that. And now make the brush size smaller, 5%, and brighten this edge here. Okay, so the pumpkin is basically ready. We can still add here shadow from under the cut. For this we can make a new layer. We are going to change your blending mode to overlay. And we can take black color, so number 9. And with brush size 9%, we can just darken here under the cat, like this. Let's turn down the opacity of this layer. So let's tap here and let's make it maybe 77. Now with the smaller brush size we can make this darker even more here, right under his paws, like that. Okay, and now because this layer is not clipped to anything, I can see that I came outside here of the shape of the pumpkin. So we have to fix this. We can just take the eraser, let's tap on it, let's set it here to calligraphy and monoline brush, and with the brush size 87, let's just erase here this where we came outside. Okay, now let's start adding some light and shadow to the cat. Maybe we can start here with his paws. Let's go to the layer of them and let's make a new layer above it. Let's set it as clipping mask and set it as drawing assist. We have now the black color. We are going to use it, but I'm going to change here the brush. I will pick here different texture. I'm going to use here paper shading. With the brush size 11, let's color the bottom part of his paws like this. Now we can add here some light. Let's change the color. Let's take this purple one, number 14, and let's add it very lightly here to the top part. And now we can add here a little bit of orange color reflected from the pumpkin. So let's take the orange color, number 1. Let's make the brush size smaller, 5%. Let's turn down the opacity. We want this very light. I will make it 43. And we can add it here like this. So it's there, but it's barely visible. Let's add here some extra light. Let's change the color. Take number 13 and just add it over here to the top, like this. Okay, now let's add some light and shadow, maybe to his ears. So let's go to layer number 8, the one with the ears and tail. And let's make a new layer above it. Let's set it as clipping mask. And here we're not going to use the drawing assist. The light will be coming from here. So let's pick a color for the light. Let's take number 14. Let's make the brush opacity 100% again, brush size 10, and add the light over here like that. And now to this ear. Okay. And now with the bigger brush size, maybe 17, let's add it here to the tip of his tail and a little bit here. Let's make it brighter now. Let's take color number 13. And with the smaller brush size 8%, we can just brighten here the ears like that. And the tail over here, just the top part. Now let's add the shadow here. So let's take black color number 9. And we can add the shadow over here to the right side of the ears. And then here to the bottom part of the tail and the right side of it. And we can add here a little bit of reflected light in the orange color from the pumpkin. Let's take number 1. And very lightly let's add it here like this. And then here on this side we can add the purple color from the background. Let's take number 14. Very lightly let's add it here. Okay, now let's add some shadow and light to the middle part of his ears. So let's go to the layer of them over here. Let's make a new layer above it. Set it as clipping mask. And let's change the color. Let's take color number 11 and just add the shadow over here to the left side, like this. And then let's change the color to this light purple, number 13. And very lightly we can add it over here, like this. Okay, now we can add shadow and light to his head. So let's go to the layer of it, this one. And let's make a new layer above it and set it as clipping mask. Let's change the color to black, so number 9. Let's make the brush size bigger, 17, and add this over here to the bottom part of him and the right side like this. Now let's make a brush size smaller, 3%, and we'll add it here around his eyes, to the left side of them, like this. Same over here. And then a little bit here on the right side of his nose. Now let's add here just a little bit of reflected light from the pumpkin, so in orange color. Let's take number 1. Let's make the brush size maybe 7% and brush opacity 45, and very lightly we can add it over here like this. Very lightly. Now let's take purple color for the light, number 14. And we can add it first here to the right side where we added shadow, like this, very lightly, just on the edge. And now let's make the brush opacity 100% and bigger brush size 18 and add it here to the left side, like this. Let's make the brush size smaller now, 4%, and draw with this on the right side of the eyes, go around them like this. Now over here. Okay. And we have to bring back this black because now it's not visible. So let's take the black color and just draw again here. Like that. And now let's add here some extra light with the color 13. Let's make the brush size 12 and add it over here. Just brighten this up. Let's make the brush size smaller, 3%, and very lightly add this over here to the right side of the eyes, just a little bit, and also here on the edge, on the right side of his head, very, very lightly. Okay, now let's add some shadow to his nose. So let's go to the layer of it, over here. Let's make a new layer on top of this and set it as clipping mask. For this we are going to change the blending mode to overlay. And we'll be using black color. So let's take number 9. Let's pick some kind of softer texture. I will use here soft 3. And with the brush size 2%, I'll just darken this on the right side, like that, and here at the bottom, so just a little bit. And now we can take white color, we can just grab it from here and brighten here the left side of the nose like this. We can change the opacity of this, maybe it's a little bit too strong. Let's turn it down. And I will make it 72. For the eyes, we can make a new layer. We are also going to set it as clipping mask. And we'll set it as overlay. Let's take black color, number 9. And let's make the brush size bigger, 9%. And we can darken here the left side of the eyes, like this. Let's make them still darker in few places, so let's make one more layer. Let's set it to clipping mask and change it to overlay. Now with the smaller brush size, size 4, we can make it darker in few places like that. This will make the eyes more interesting. And now we can add here reflection in the eyes. Let's make a new layer for this. Let's set it as clipping mask. And we'll change the blending mode to add. Let's change the color. Let's take this one, number 14. And with a bigger brush size, 9%, we can just add it here like that. And now let's change the color. Let's take number 13 and make the brush size smaller, 4%, and draw here one more line, like that, closer to the top part. Okay, I think I will still go back here to the light on the cat's head. So I'll go to this layer over here. And with this light purple, I'll go back to the brush that I used here. It was paper shading. I'll make the brush size 8. And very lightly I'll just add it here in the middle, like this, to brighten this part up too. Okay, so let's zoom out, let's see. We still have to add shadow under the pumpkin. First, let's turn off that drawing assist line, we don't need to see this anymore. Let's go to the actions menu and turn off drawing guide. And now, let's make a new layer. Let's put it all the way to the bottom. over here. And let's pick black color to draw the shadow. So number 9. Let's change the brush. I'm going to use here this one, dry. And with the brush size 19, we can just draw the shadow here under the pumpkin like this. Let's make it darker right under the pumpkin. And we are going to change the blending mode of this now. Let's set it to overlay. And let's duplicate it to bring back some of that black color. So swipe on it to the left and pick duplicate. And this layer we can change blending mode to multiply. Let's turn down the opacity here. I will make it 45. And let's darken here this again, right under the pumpkin, like this. Now let's make a new layer. Set it also as multiply. And make this even darker. Right here, right under the pumpkin. And now we are going to add here a little bit of orange color in that shadow. We'll do it here on this overlay layer. So let's go here. We can take here this color, number 2. Let's make the brush size bigger, 34%, and add it over here, very lightly, like this. And this will make this way more interesting and nicer looking. Now let's take the darkest orange, so number 3, and color this even more. And now we can still add a little bit of light reflected here to the bottom of the pumpkin. So let's go first over here to this layer with the light and shadow on the side parts of the pumpkin. And let's take color number 13. Let's make the brush size 5%. Let's make the opacity lower, 64. And very lightly we can add here some of this color like this. Now we can do the same here to this part. So let's go here to this layer with the shadow on it and add it over here very lightly. Like that. And now to the middle part. Let's go to the shadows on it and very lightly we can add it over here. Okay, and now in the end we can add here just one more touch of light. Let's make a new layer on top of everything. Over here, let's set it to add. Let's take the background color, so number 15. And we can use the same brush that we have now here. Let's make the brush opacity 100%. Brush size 13. And let's add it here to the cat's head, like this. A little bit to the top of his tail. A little bit to the tips of his ears, like this. And don't worry that you're coming outside of the shapes now. We're going to erase this in a second. And let's add it also over here on the pumpkin. On this side like that, very lightly, and here in the middle part too. Okay, let's change the opacity of this layer. We can turn it down just a little bit. I will make it 84 and let's see the difference. I think this adds a little bit and makes it look even nicer. So now let's erase the parts that we came outside here. We can take the eraser, let's tap on it and set it to the same brush. So for me this is Siakulaart textures and dry brush, and I only came outside here on his ears. So I'm going to make the bar size smaller, 6%, and just make sure that I will erase this. Okay, and now this illustration is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you can share your drawing with me on Instagram. I would love to see it. And if you would like to draw more with me, don't forget to check out my Patreon. Link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!